In the misty dawn of Newport News, Virginia, where the James River whispered secrets to the Atlantic, Amelia Hart stood on the edge of the dry dock, her heart pounding like the hammers that echoed through the shipyard. It was 2009, and the world was still reeling from economic turmoil. But here in the heart of America's naval might, a colossus was being born, the USS Gerald R. Ford. The lead ship of a new class of aircraft carriers was no mere vessel, it was a floating city, a symbol of unyielding power, destined to be the largest warship ever constructed by human, hands to 289 Fimpim, at over 2,100 feet long and displacing 100,000 tons when fully loaded. It would eclipse even the mighty Nimitz-class carriers that had dominated the seas for decades. Abfed, Amelia, with her auburn hair tied back under a hard hat and eyes the color of stormy seas, was no stranger to ambition. Born in a small coastal town in Maine, she had dreamed of the ocean since childhood, sketching ships in her notebooks while her father, a retired Navy veteran, spun tales of distant battles. Now at 32, she was the lead structural engineer on the Ford project, overseeing the intricate welding of steel plates that would form the hull of this behemoth. Her team called her Iron Heart, not just for her last name, but for her unshakable resolve. Yet beneath that steel exterior lay a vulnerability, a lingering grief from losing her husband, Captain Marcus Hart, in a training accident aboard the USS Enterprise years ago. The sea had given her purpose, but it had also taken her love. Beside her stood Ethan Blake, her closest colleague and confidant. Tall and broad-shouldered, with a gentle smile that belied his rugged past as a welder-turned-foreman, Ethan had namesake eyes as dark as midnight. He had joined the shipyard straight out of high school, escaping a troubled family in the Appalachian Hills. "This isn't just a job, Amelia," he said, his voice cutting through the clang of machinery. "This is history. The Ford class will carry 80 aircraft, electromagnetic catapults, advanced nuclear reactors. It's the future, FA-90. He placed a hand on her shoulder, a touch that lingered just a moment too long, stirring emotions she wasn't ready to face. Their days blurred into nights under the floodlights. The shipyard buzzed with thousands of workers, welders, electricians, machinists, all united in a symphony of creation. But challenges loomed like gathering storm clouds. Budget overruns plagued the project, with costs soaring to over $13 billion. FBC&F critics in Washington decried it as a white elephant, questioning if such a giant was necessary in an era of drones and cyber warfare. Amelia fought back in meetings, her voice steady. This carrier isn't just about size. It's about projection of power, protecting our freedoms across the globe. Deep down, she wondered if she was building a monument to her lost love or a machine that might claim more lives. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Amelia found a young apprentice, Lily Voss, crying in the break room. Lily, barely 19, with golden curls and a spirit as fierce as a gale, had joined the yard to honor her grandfather, a Pearl Harbor survivor. "I miss home," Lily confessed, wiping tears. "This place is so big, so overwhelming." Amelia sat beside her, sharing stories of her own early struggles. "The sea tests us, Lily, but it also forges us. Look at what we're building. The biggest carrier America has ever seen. It'll carry dreams like yours across the waves." That night, a bond formed, motherly and mentorship-like, reminding Amelia of the family she yearned for. As construction progressed, tensions rose. A faulty weld threatened to delay the keel-laying ceremony. Ethan worked tirelessly, his hands blistered to fix it. "For Marcus," he whispered to Amelia one night, revealing he had served with her husband. The revelation hit her like a wave, stirring old pains and new affections. By the end of part 1, the keel was laid, and the ship's skeleton rose defiantly against the sky, a promise of greatness amid personal turmoil. Years passed like relentless tides, and by 2013, the USS Gerald R. Ford began to take her true form. The dry dock flooded and the massive hull floated for the first time, a baptism in salt water that sent cheers rippling through the yard. Amelia, now promoted to chief engineer, watched with pride swelling in her chest. The carrier's flight deck, spanning 256 feet wide, was a marvel, designed for the F-35 Lightning II jets and unmanned drones. It represented a leap in naval aviation. C-99A, but pride came with peril. The advanced systems, including the electromagnetic aircraft launch system, emails, were untested giants, prone to glitches that could derail the entire project. Ethan, ever the steadfast partner, had become more than a colleague. Their late-night discussions over blueprints evolved into quiet dinners, where he shared his fears. What if this beast we build turns on us? I've seen ships like the Nimitz endure storms, but this is unprecedented. The Nimitz-class, at 97,000 tons, had been the backbone of the fleet since the 1970s. But the Ford promised more efficiency, with a smaller crew of 4,500 souls. After Amelia leaned on him, confessing her nightmares of Marcus's accident. Building this is my way of honoring him. Ethan, making sure no one else loses what I did. Lily Voss had grown into a skilled technician, her hands deft with the carrier's laser-guided weapons systems. But tragedy struck when a crane malfunction during module installation injured several workers, including Lily's mentor. In the hospital, Lily held his hand, vowing, "I'll finish this for you." Amelia saw her younger self in Lily, the fire, the fragility, and took her under her wing more fully, teaching her the intricacies of the ship's dual-band radar, capable of tracking threats from miles away. External pressures mounted. Protests outside the yard decried the military-industrial complex, chanting about peace over power. Inside, delays from supply chain issues, exotic alloys for the hull, rare components for the reactors, tested everyone's limits. Amelia faced a personal crisis when her mother fell ill back in Maine, torn between duty and family. She confided in Ethan, "This carrier is my life, but is it worth losing everything else?" He pulled her close, their first kiss under the shadow of the rising superstructure, a moment of vulnerability amid the steel. As sea trials approached in 2017, the team pushed boundaries. The Ford's nuclear propulsion allowed speeds over 30 knots, her size dwarfing predecessors like the USS Enterprise, which had been the longest at 1,023 feet. But lighter, 245. During a shakedown cruise simulation, a system failure caused a blackout, plunging the mock bridge into darkness. Ethan, drawing on his welding expertise, jury-rigged a fix, saving the day. "We're not just building a ship," he said. "We're building resilience." Lily, now leading a sub-team, discovered a design flaw in the arrestor gear. Her quick thinking prevented a potential catastrophe, earning her a commendation. But the victory was bittersweet. News arrived of escalating global tensions, reminding them that this carrier might soon see real combat. By Part 2's close, the Ford was commissioned, her decks alive with aircraft, but the human cost, strained relationships, hidden scars loomed large. By 2023, the USS Gerald R Ford was fully operational, deploying to the Mediterranean amid rising geopolitical storms. HC-1, Amelia, having left the shipyard for a Navy advisory role, watched from afar as her creation sailed into history. The carrier, the world's largest at 100,000 tons full load, hosted air wings that could strike with precision unmatched. BLMFA. But personal horizons darkened. Ethan proposed marriage during a rare leave, but Amelia hesitated, haunted by loss. "The sea took Marcus," she whispered. "What if it takes you?" Ethan deployed aboard the Ford as a civilian consultant, his expertise vital for maintaining the advanced systems. Letters flew between them, his describing the hum of jets launching via emails, hers filled with longing. "This ship is a guardian," he wrote. "Like you guarded my heart, Lily." Now Ensign Voss served in the CIC, her quick mind analyzing threats. She had blossomed into a confident officer, but carried the weight of her grandfather's stories, fearing the cycle of war. A real storm hit during a NATO exercise off Croatia Pontioti 681B6. Hurricane-force winds battered the carrier, her massive size a double-edged sword, stable yet a target for nature's fury. Below decks, Ethan rallied the crew, repairing a flooded compartment. In the chaos, he saved a young sailor trapped under debris, echoing Marcus's heroism. News reached Amelia via satellite. Ethan was injured, his leg broken. Rushing to the port, she boarded the Ford for the first time as a visitor, tears streaming as she held him. "I can't lose you too," she confessed. Their reunion ignited a fire. She accepted his proposal, vowing to face the future together. Lily faced her own trial when intelligence revealed a submarine threat. In the tense hours, she coordinated a defensive strike, her decisions saving the fleet. But the experience shattered her innocence. A close friend perished in a related mishap, Grieving, she sought Amelia's counsel. Is this power worth the pain? Amelia, drawing from her depths, replied, Power isn't in the size of the ship. Lily, it's in the hearts aboard her. We've built more than steel. We've built hope. As the deployment continued, the Ford's prowess shone in humanitarian missions, airlifting supplies to disaster-struck regions. Ethan recovered, his bond with Amelia strengthened. Yet whispers of larger threats rival. Nations building their own supercarriers loomed. By Part 3's end, the characters confronted their inner demons, the carrier a metaphor for their enduring spirits. In 2025, as the USS John F. Kennedy, the second Ford-class carrier, neared completion, Amelia and Ethan stood once more in Newport News, now married with a daughter named Hope, symbolizing renewal. The Ford-class had proven its mettle with 10 planned, each a titan surpassing the Nimitz in technology and might. 8/22. Amelia, retired from active duty, wrote a memoir reflecting on the journey. We built the biggest aircraft carriers America ever dreamed, but in doing so, we rebuilt ourselves. Ethan, scarred but wiser, mentored the next generation, including Lily, now Lieutenant Voss, commanding a squadron. She had found love aboard the Ford, marrying a pilot, their story mirroring Amelia's. The sea gives and takes, Lily said at a ceremony honoring the carriers. But it never breaks the brave. The narrative culminated in a global crisis averted by the Ford's intervention, a tense standoff where her presence deterred aggression, saving countless lives without a shot fired. Amelia watched from home, heart full. As news praised the world's largest warship, D-15 Nimitz, in quiet moments she visited Marcus's grave, whispering, We did it for you, for all of us. The story closed with hope, the child gazing at the sea, dreaming of her own adventures. The biggest carriers weren't just machines. They were vessels of human triumph, love, and resilience, etching an indelible mark on history and hearts.